I always hear the question, when will it end? As the news breaks in with yet another fatal shooting. According to the Research Triangle Institute, firearm violence is the leading cause of death among North Carolina's youth, age 1 to 17. At the time our story was published, there have been 21 homicides in Winston-Salem as compared to 19 last year at this same time. Now, I spoke with family members who lost loved ones from gun violence and community activists who say they won't rest until something is done.
Parents are not supposed to bury their children. It's supposed to be the other way around.
A 12-year-old girl hanging out at Weston Park.
The way she'd just stand her ground, she didn't care about others' opinions. She was her own person, literally. I'll say her dancing sticks with us the most. We just think of every time we listen to music at home.
Friends in good spirits leaving a party.
We're in somebody's backyard, literally crawling for our lives in the woods because they were shooting. We can hear the bullets hitting different things outside. And that was the scariest thing in my life. And all I can tell my friends, like, we gotta make it home. We gotta make it home. So that just shows you firsthand how dangerous it can be. And a bullet has no name on it. It has no eyes. So it could have easily been me if I stood up the wrong way.
And a high school athlete in the wrong place at the wrong time.
He was one of the young men that was killed on Cody Drive 4 years ago, where they had a massive shooting. The police said it was 178 bullet casings from 9 different...
178?
Yeah, from 9 different guns.
And that case still remains unsolved today.
Good evening to everyone in the building.
Youth gun violence activists say they're tired of hugging and consoling mothers, knowing full well it might not be okay.
My grandson's gone. He ain't never coming back. But if I can help somebody else's child from going to the grave, then it's been worth it all.
Just state your first and last name and what
Many community leaders, along with city, school, and police officials, aren't letting this recurring violence go unnoticed. For more than 10 years, the city's Human Relations Department has hosted a trust talk with one of the topics surrounding youth violence. The last one was held in April.
We could use to address gun violence.
Councilwoman Barbara Burke has also jumped on board, leading several gun violence forums that focus on resources in the area.
It's very important for them to report out on the results of these programs and strategies that have been implemented, and then hear from the community what they believe the impact has been.
Whether it's a push for stronger gun laws, a safe outlet for vulnerable youth, or emotional support for students, local organizations are working hard to stop another bullet from taking a life.
And that's about access into our schools. That's about the work that in partnership with our law enforcement officers around the work of our school resource officers. That is about our reporting apps, anonymous reporting apps, where a student can report that, hey, this is happening, or reporting to an adult in the school, this is happening. We've heard that somebody has a weapon. We are implementing social emotional learning right now in all of our schools, and that is, again, a preventative measure. It's a daily focus on building relationships and learning about empathy.
We are specifically focusing on gun crime to make sure that we try to reduce the gun crimes that we have seen. One of the strategies that we're using is to start gun tracing. Gun tracing basically allows us to follow a gun so that we can prosecute those people that are involved in straw purchasing.
As you know, we're out in the community every day working with young men and women. We have mentoring programs. We have a program at the YMCA that we're working with young men every day. We have a program that we're initiating this year with the Dream Team. The mayor has agreed to be a part of it. United Way has agreed to be a part of it. But we're going to take elementary kids that are getting ready for middle school kids and bring them to a centralized location downtown, work with them 4 days a week. If you look at a lot of things that are happening in our city, whether it's violence, whether it's poverty, whether it's illiteracy, whether it's food deserts, where they're happening at. Look at the heat map. And I can assure you there's a common denominator. And once you identify that, you start to say, how can we change the narrative?
Funding, money, It's one big thing that they're using for technology, for this, for that, for all this other stuff. It ain't reaching our streets. It ain't coming to the people who really out there on the ground.
David Villada, director of Nueva Vida New Life Church, says he wants to see more money fund programs that target areas where gun violence occurs most. For him, it's about finding the root problems of crime. Currently, Villada offers kids an outlet through his program, Pueblo Boxing, at Abba Father's Community Development Center several days a week.
Kids, individuals, anybody can go out into these streets and find a gun easier than you can find a job. That's sad, you know? We really have to be able to put down a plan of action. And a lot of the time, that type of stuff volunteers can do, but volunteers want to go home to their families. They're only going to do so much.
After losing his grandson to gun violence and growing up a troubled child in the Charlotte area, Bishop Scotty White has remained dedicated to helping get vulnerable kids back on track.
There's some kids that never been out the city. They really don't know what the world has to offer, except what they see in their circle. And if we show them another part of what the world has to offer, what they can be, then hopefully that will change some. We won't get them all, but it'll change some.
Also through Abba Fathers Ministries, Bishop White has organized a summer program for students whose parents work full-time and more. Alongside boxing, kids can take part in basketball, swimming, movies, and even go on educational field trips around the Triad. And now, in partnership with Winston-Salem Forsyth County Schools, Bishop White is working on something even bigger that will motivate kids and keep them away from crime.
What we have offered, instead of them to be suspended, to be out with no supervision, because that mother is working, we offer to have him come here along with his computer or her computer. They will stay with their curriculum, and they will have to take a course on conflict resolution, respect for authority, whatever it is that they were suspended for.
That's just a small example of...
But gun violence activists say curbing these crimes is also about bringing back respect and empathy for loved ones and those in authority.
The way we grew up, the way my grandparents raised us was you never go pick up a gun, you never pick up a weapon. If you have a problem with someone, you either talk it out or you fight it out and you keep moving. You don't keep fighting when you see each other again, it was done, it's finished. But these days, you can't do that. These young people are not fighting anymore. They're just going straight shooting. You argue, they're gonna shoot you. You try to buck up at them, they're gonna shoot you.
If I got out of line, my neighbor could discipline me, and I would be in trouble with my mom and dad when they got home. We might have to go back to doing some of those same things because it was enough to keep me out of the penitentiary. It was enough to keep me out of jail.
On January 15th, 12-year-old Enity Morales was shot and killed here at Weston Park after a fight broke out. Now family members are asking the city to make that date Enity Day and put a plaque at the park to not only give Enity a face, but also that children and anyone for that matter should have a right to safety in all public arenas.
Not just, oh yeah, the little girl that passed away, she was 12-year-old. It wasn't that. There's a whole lot of background of information of our family, people who knew her, because she touched a lot of people's hearts.
So picking up that gun, there is no winners. Nobody wins. Nobody comes out on top. Everybody loses. And most of all, your family loses. And more than all, you lose.
War. There's war out here in these streets. Why? I don't know, but we're at war. Gun violence has become a pandemic. If we came together for COVID-19 and we put social distancing and masks and we put a whole plan together, why can't we come together for, a social unity?
We learn to live with it, and when people sing a song, God is my strength, truly God is our strength in times like these, and I don't wish this feeling on nobody.